Here's a chance for you to help with a classic American comeback story and help restore the American chestnut tree to northeastern forests. SUNY ESF researchers have been spending decades now developing a blight-tolerant variety of this tree. And they have it. Joining us now, Dr. Andrew Newhouse, Director of the Restoration Project at ESF. Andy, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Let's start really bigger picture. I mean, why is it even important to restore this variety of tree into the northeastern forest? Why all this time you guys have spent up there?
Yeah, American chestnuts were really unique because they provided value to the forest, to the wildlife, and to people who lived in these areas. So there aren't really modern equivalents that had that combination of features. And with so many pressing threats to other types of trees today, it's really important that we can start to bring back these individual species and hopefully address threats to others moving forward.
As I mentioned, you all, and I mean the collective at SUNY ESF, have been at this a long time, but we're very far along in the process of trying to get it back into forests. With the USDA, you're at that public input phase. How important is this phase, and why should people weigh in, and what would they even say about it?
Yeah, this is a really important milestone. It signifies a big step in the process to play a role in this broader picture of chestnut restoration, but also it's significant beyond chestnut in that it represents the use of modern tools to address some of these threats to trees that I talked about that we really need to be aware of and working on protecting.
So what would somebody, I mean, what would they end up saying? The public's input, obviously what you and your researchers and your teams have done over the years, that's all critical and important, but like what would the public do? How important is what they have to say?
Yeah, of course, scientific comments are valuable, but really part of the purpose of this is input from the public so people can weigh in on the importance of chestnut trees, maybe the enthusiasm for chestnut restoration, importance of tree restoration more generally, and then maybe the value of applying this technology toward tree restoration,
Gotcha.
where much of biotechnology has been focused only on agricultural work in the past.
Gotcha. So we've mentioned that it's the darling variety that you guys are calling it. It's clearly ready for review. It's been feeling like it's in that process now for at least a couple of years. Why does this regulatory process take so long, and why does it seem like so many agencies are involved in it? It's a tree.
Yeah. Exactly. I will start by saying the review processes are focused on safety. So it's very clear, based on years of testing, that our trees are safe to people and safe to the environment. So safety isn't really the question, but this is the first time the review process has been applied to a wild tree. So for reviewers who are familiar with things like corn and soybeans, just getting used to reviewing a tree intended for wild release and restoration is a very new application of the technology.
I guess to make sure that it fits in and doesn't harm any other species, because it is a slightly different variety than what was there many, many years ago.
That's part of it, yeah. And really our goal is to help protect the populations that are already there. So as these trees or any other blight-tolerant varieties in the future can cross with the few remaining trees that are still in the wild, that'll protect the existing populations and help us move forward.
The project founders, Bill Powell, Chuck Maynard, they've passed in the last couple of years, but they started this back in 1989. I mean, how diligent and patient do you have to be to see this through to the end? And what would it mean to them, do you think, to be this far along, this close?
Yeah, that's been difficult. Of course, we miss them very deeply, but really it's an honor to carry on their legacy and continue this research. And absolutely, patience is required. I say that working with trees and working with federal regulatory review processes both require lots of patience, but we've been working on it continually for decades, like you said, and absolutely intend to continue.
Last one for you. I got about 30 seconds. We mentioned that public comment period is open. I think it's until July 21st. How does somebody get there, and what do you think they would offer in the way of productive comments? You kind of talked about it a little bit, but how do they get to this public comment area?
Yeah, it's hosted on what's called the Federal Register. There are some links on our website. So even after this first approval is done, other agencies are involved to review other aspects of this, and we're continuing research on other species. So even though this is a long and drawn out process, we're hoping to use similar technologies to protect other species as well.
Awesome. Andy, thanks so much for spending the time. Best of luck with this. Stay in touch and let us know how we move along once we finally get these things planted again.
Thanks.